Hi everyone, I'm Shannon and welcome to today's video. So today's video I've been working on for probably a couple weeks, if not months, and that is ranking all of my Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. So I really got into Tom Ford a little over a year ago. I did a makeup lesson with my friend Austin Ride. I will post his link to his Instagram below. He's a fabulous makeup artist and he also does makeup lessons and he does them via Skype, FaceTime, etc. So if you're interested, definitely contact him. But he is a big fan of Tom Ford eyeshadow. So I started investing in a couple, and then I happened upon the cosmetic company store where you can get basically all of their Tom Ford products are at least 60% off, sometimes even more. So the majority of the eyeshadow quads that I have gotten through the cosmetic company store. Some of them aren't even discontinued. I just kind of was there at the right time. And then some of them I did, I won't say I paid full price because I did usually purchase them either on sale or, the Sephora VIB sale or some sort of sale. So I don't think I've paid full price for any of them. I don't think, but I could be wrong. But the majority of them I did purchase at the cosmetic company store. So I'm going to try and go through them fairly quickly because I've accumulated a collection and I'm up to 30. So I'm going to try and go through this pretty fast. Otherwise this video would be an hour and a half long. I'm going to show a swatch as well as a look that I did with them. So this is basically, I'm not a makeup artist. I'm just, an average person. And so don't judge my technique. I've definitely improved and I'm improving with each one. And the interesting thing with these quads is I've discovered I kind of prefer quads over palettes now because it's just easy. You have it, you know what you're kind of doing. There's 4 colors. You can use 2, 3, or 4, but you're not overwhelmed. And I sometimes get overwhelmed with palettes and they're just easy. And I think you just kind of look at it and you can kind of know what you're going to get a look. And also it's helped me experiment with colors. And there's some palettes that I thought, I don't know if I'm going to like this one, that I absolutely loved. And then there's a couple that I thought I was going to love and I didn't. So I'm going to get into it now. There aren't any that I don't like. So there's some that I absolutely love and there's some that I really like. And then as my husband would put it, when I would have him like, hey, how do you like this look? He goes, I like it. It's not my favorite. So I guess there's the beginning category is the not my favorite category, but there's none that I don't like and there's none that are subpar quality. They're all fantastic. It's just personal preference. So, and you'll see as we get along where kind of my preferences is usually more neutrals, but with a couple surprises. So let's go ahead and get started. I also wanted to say if you want to cheat, you can, because I will put the full list in the description box below. That way you can just fast forward. If there's information on a particular quad you're looking for, you can just go ahead and skip through to that section. So, because I do expect this to be somewhat of a longer video. With that said, number 30 is Frostfire. And this is the one thing I don't like about the quads is they get really dirty. So they kind of get fingerprints a lot. I have also marked them. So well, obviously this one's silver, but when you get to the brown ones, they all kind of look alike. So I have marked them. It just makes it easier for me to kind of go through my drawers without having to flip them over. So Frostfire is pretty. The problem with Frostfire is this lavender, even though I am fairly pale, it doesn't even show up on me. So it's not a really great transition shade. And this blue is absolutely beautiful, but with blue eyes, I don't really find that it, I don't really like wearing blue eyeshadow. So it's not my favorite. I absolutely love this color right here. I sometimes just reach into this quad just for this to highlight, especially if I'm going out. I think this is like a beautiful brow bone highlight or inner corner eye highlight. I love that. To me, that's worth keeping this quad. But this is number 30 and this is Frostfire. Next up is number 29, and that is Soleil et Lune. I'm not really good with the pronunciation, so if I mispronounce, I'm sorry. So this quad is really pretty. It's got a beautiful mint tone, definitely a cool tone palette. It's got this beautiful mint. But again, for me, the mint, I think this is a really beautiful quad for someone with maybe a darker complexion or darker features, like dark brown eyes or dark hair. For me, I wore this actually to a friend's house and with a matching shirt, and it just kind of washed me out. So I noticed in pictures I felt a little washed out. It's really pretty. I think it's really great for springtime or maybe Easter. But I really don't see myself reaching into this much because it just, as someone so pale with, blonde hair and blue eyes, it kind of washes me out. So number 29 is Soleil et Lune. So I did forget to mention those other two, 30 and 29, I did purchase at the cosmetic company store, and I believe they're discontinued, though you can still find them at the cosmetic company store. I'll post a link below or a card for my video on the cosmetic company store. You can actually call any cosmetic company store and see if they have a particular quad in stock or any product, and they will actually mail it to you. I think it's $5 if it's up to $50, and then over $50 it's a flat $10 rate. So even if you don't have one of those outlets near you, you can actually call and see if you can get it in stock. So number 28 is Titanium Smoke. This is another one that I got and discontinued. This one I got at 75% off with an extra 10% off. So I think it cost me like $19. I never would have picked it up if it hadn't been, I won't even say $20 is cheap for a quad, but I think for Tom Ford, it's very cheap. So again, this just quad, I think I'm just not as experienced of a makeup artist or doing my own makeup, especially doing smoky eyes for me to do it. I love this shade right here for the highlight and the brow bone, but this one I just thought it was just too dark for me. I did like it, but I don't. If I went out a lot more, I definitely would probably wear this. I definitely plan on wearing this in the future if I'm going out. I'm planning on having a girls' night soon, so this might be something that I wear, but it's just something I'm not going to reach for very often. I probably would not have bought it if it hadn't been as inexpensive as it was, but it's definitely something fun. But again, it's just not my favorite category. Number 27. Number 27 is another one I picked up at the cosmetic company store, and this is Supernouveau. And Supernouveau is an interesting one. This color, I actually really liked it when I put it on. When I was putting it on, I kind of struggled with getting a look. I remember having to wipe my face and putting it together. But then as it wore and I got into the light, and I remember getting into the car and looking at my eyeshadow and thinking, oh, I actually really like this look. So this shade right here, it's kind of like I guess it's like a peach, I don't know, or pink, but it actually kind of matches my shirt. Really pretty. So I kind of like this more than the Titanium Smoke. You've got this deep black matte eyeshadow that I do reach in sometimes if I just want a liner. It's beautiful. Again, it's something fun. I don't know if I'll reach into it that often. This might be one that I declutter just because there's other ones that are deeper tones that I like more, but I do like it. This one was kind of a surprise, but I don't really like it as much as I do some of the others. So that is number 27, Supernouveau. Okay, number 26, another one I picked up at the outlet, and you're gonna kind of see a trend with the last three, and that is Double Indemnity. And again, it's another darker toned palette. I do like this one, and I do like it obviously more than the Titanium Smoke because it's not as deep. So I can definitely get a look with this one, but not as it's not as heavy as the other one. But there's one that's similar to this that I did rank a lot higher because when I compared the two, I like that one so much more. This one just kind of, it's a little, it's more gray, it's topaz, it's a like grayish, and it's a little more dreary on my eyes, where there was others that are a little bit brighter and that I liked more. So I tend, if I want that type of cool tone, darker look, I go with that palette rather than this one. So this is number 26, Double Indemnity. Okay, number 25. I'm actually not going to mention anymore which ones I got at the outlet. I will mention if I didn't get it at the outlet because most of them I got at the outlet. This is Visionaire and this is 25. And this is actually, I thought I was going to love this so much more than I did. I kind of felt like these two shades were very similar. So I just kind of felt like they looked muddy and the shimmer just didn't really show up as much. I don't know, it didn't wow me. And I don't know, I felt like it was a little harder to work with than some of the other ones with similar tones. So I liked it, but it wasn't my favorite. So that is 25 Visionaire. The next up is 24, and that is Seductive Rose. Now this is another one that I really thought I was going to love. And again, I liked it, but I didn't love it. And it's, as you can tell, it is very loved. I have used it. I just kind of find one, there's not really a transition shade, so that's kind of a struggle. And then there's these two shimmers. So I would have really rathered if one of these was a transition shade, and then this one would be in the kind of to emphasize, and then this is the brow bone. So that's kind of where like these two, even though they look different in the pan, on the eye, they're not very different. So I didn't really feel like wowed by this palette, and I found it kind of, not having that transition shade was something where you do have to kind of reach outside the palette. So I did like it, didn't love it. Seductive Rose, I believe it's discontinued, and you probably can still find it on the outlet, but this is 24 Seductive Rose. Okay, number 23 is another one that's discontinued, but it is called White Suede. And I got this, again, got it at the outlet. It was inexpensive, so I did like it. It was definitely easier to work with. I use this as my transition, use this in the crease, and then use this on the lid. So I got a really nice look out of it. It just wasn't my favorite. And again, I don't really like blue eyeshadow with my blue eyes and putting it on, so I really didn't care for it as too much. But I liked the look. I didn't hate it. I felt it was pretty easy to work with. So, but it was just, again, it was in that not my favorite category. So that is 23 White Suede. Next up is 22, and that is Noir Fume. This one, I actually did get out of the outlet as well. I liked it, but I thought I was really, like, I saw this and I was like, I want this one. This was absolutely one I love. And I thought it was okay. These like two, I guess, satin shades. I'm not really good with the terminology. This brow bone is a matte, and then the accent color is a matte as well. So it's really pretty, but it's kind of boring. And there was other ones that are neutrals that I really, really love. One of them is on my eyes right now. So I liked it, but I just didn't love it. And when I want a, neutral type brown look, this is not the palette I go in. So I like this, but definitely I think that there are some better. So this is 22 Noir Fume. And rounding out the 20s, that is number 21, and this is Daydream. So Daydream, I had seen at the outlet for a couple times that I went, and it never interested me. Then I watched Morgan Turner's ranking of her Tom Ford quads, and this was her number one. Now, obviously, she has a completely, if you don't know Morgan Turner, she's amazing. She's half my age, but she's incredible. She ranked this as her number one. And I saw her look and I was like, okay, so the next time I went, it actually was 75% off with like another 10% off. So I picked it up, and again, it was cheap. And then I did a look and I really liked it. So is it something that I'm going to reach for all the time? No, but is it something that's fun? I think I wore it in one of my Ulta videos and people were commenting that they liked it. I was like, oh, I liked the purple eyeshadow with, I think I wore a purple blazer. So it was really fun. It's a fun palette. I really do enjoy it. So I could definitely see this, going out, it should be fun. It's a fun palette. It's really pretty. And for bright colors, I find it really easy to work with, which is nice, because someone who's not used to working with colors, I find this palette really easy to work with. So this is my number 21 Daydream. So now we're getting into the I really like it category. These are the ones that I really like. They're not the ones that I love the most, but these are like I really like that. I guess Daydream was probably in that category as well. So number 20 is Soleil Neige. This was so the white or the special color ones are usually limited edition. This was, I think, the one of the winter ones. It is discontinued, but you can sometimes still find it at the outlet, or sometimes online retailers still have this. So if you are interested. Now, this is one that's kind of like the Double Indemnity or Titanium Smoke. This is the one that I would reach for. So it's very similar colors. You have this beautiful white brow bone, gorgeous. But this is the interesting thing. I don't necessarily like blue eyeshadow, but this navy blue is gorgeous. Like, I love it. I loved it on my eye. I put it on. It was definitely a smoky eye, but it was just something different. It wasn't very dreary. It just kind of popped. So this is, if I'm looking for like a dark smoky eye, this is the palette. This or another one that's going to be a little bit higher. These are the ones that I reach for, but I love this navy blue. So I think it's just so much fun. And it does definitely pop on my eye. So this is number 20, Soleil Neige. Number 19 is Sous Le Sable. I, again, don't know if I'm pronouncing it right. So this one is a really beautiful palette. I think it's fairly new. This is one that I picked up at a sale. So this one was not at the outlet, but this one I picked up in a sale. And the only thing that I noticed with this palette is these are very similar colors. So I would have loved a little bit more of a difference between the two. I watched a couple of videos and I think Mel Thompson said that these looked very similar and they looked muddy on. I didn't have that. I did get a little bit of a difference, but I would have liked a little bit more of definition. So I love this palette. I really do. I would say I really like this palette. It's just a fun palette. It's very simple, very easy. Like if I wanted to go in, get a quick, pretty, peachy type look, this would be the one that I would go into, and because I don't have to think about it. It's very easy, very quick. The mattes are very easy to work with. So this is number 19, Sous Le Sable. Number 18 is Silver Topaz. So this is the one that I was saying has that kind of that smoky look. Now you see it here and it doesn't look as smoky as the Double Indemnity Titanium Smoke or the Soleil Neige. So it is, and I think that's probably why I like it. So I can still get like a smoky look because this is a pretty deep shade, but without getting too deep or having like black eyeshadow. So I really loved Silver Topaz. I didn't expect to like it as much as I did, except when I put it on my eyes. So it's a really fun palette. It is discontinued. You can find it, but I'm finding that this was one of the first ones that I got, and you can, it's getting harder to find. Like I'm not seeing it as often as I was. So Silver Topaz, and that is my number 18. Okay, number 17. This is Leopard Sun. So Leopard Sun, I love warm tones. My favorite, if you watched my Urban Decay ranking video, my favorite palette is the Heat. I love the Natasha Nadona Bronze. Like, I love warm tones. So I saw this, but it just was a little intimidating. Like, I thought that little orange was kind of scary. But it ended up I kept seeing it, and then finally I went one day and it was the last one. So I was like, you know what, I'm just gonna get it. So I got it, and when I put it in my eyes, I wasn't really sure. And then after I put the whole look together, I thought, wow, I really like this look. And I asked my husband, he goes, yeah, I like that look. So it wasn't his favorite, but he really did like it. So it was one of those that I'm not surprised because I do love warm tones, but it is a little bit more colorful. So it was one of those that it's different. It's definitely a different type of palette. It's fun, but it's not too colorful, but I really loved the look that I put together. So this is 17, Leopard Sun. Next up is number 16, and that is Orchid Haze. This one's discontinued and I haven't seen it in a while. And it has, I guess, 2 mattes, a shimmer, and I guess 2 shimmers at the top. Again, really not good at the classifications, but I do really like this. And this is an interesting thing. There's this one, Orchid Haze, Virgin Orchid, Seductive Rose, and then Insolent Rose. They're all kind of the same color story or similar color family. And obviously Seductive Rose was one of the ones lower ranked. This is number 3 in that group. I like it, and I actually expected to like this one more because I tend to like the mattes more, but it was nice. I really liked it, but I do like the other ones more that are higher. So when I do want a Tom Ford and I want like a purple or a pink, I tend to reach for those other ones more, but I do really like this one. It is a really good palette. I'm not going to talk about it too much because you can't get it anymore. So this is number 16, Orchid Haze. So number 15. 15 is interesting because I saw this palette. It is a discontinued palette, but they brought it back for the Nordstrom anniversary sale in a little kit with like 2 lippies. And I was like, I wanted it. Then when I went to purchase it, it was sold out. And then it popped up at the outlet. So, and it was 60% off. So I immediately bought it. I thought I was going to love it. And I really like it. I don't love it, but I really like it. And that is Burnished Amber. So Burnished Amber, I guess was a former quad. They had it out for a while and then they discontinued it. They brought it back for the Nordstrom sale. I do really like it, but I didn't love it as much as I thought I would. So it's kind of similar to the Leopard Sun, where it's kind of colorful, but it's also similar. You could say it's similar to either the Honeymoon or the Body Heat. I do like those more, and I don't know. I really liked it. I liked the look I put together, but I didn't love it like I expected to. So that is number 15, Burnished Amber. Okay, number 14 is probably, I think, the first Tom Ford quad that I purchased. And I was fortunate. This one is still out there. You can buy it at Sephora, but I did actually get it out the outlet, and it is Nude Dip. And if you are looking to start with a Tom Ford quad and you want to get into his wet dry formula, this is a great one to start. It's a very cool tone quad. How you know it's a wet dry formula is it has the TF embossed in the shadows. So he's kind of known for this wet dry formula. It's beautiful. This is a really great wedding day palette is what I've heard people say, and I completely agree. I've worn this at Disney World, I've worn this out, I've worn this a lot of places, and this is one where if I want to practice, I've practiced with this one. This one has been well loved, and it still has got a lot of life in it. So it's a beautiful quad, beautiful, just a gorgeous, cool tone, but still kind of neutral, everyday quad, but still you can dress it up. So this is, what was it? Let's see, number 14, Nude Dip. Okay, number 13. This is, I guess, lucky number 13. This is another one that I expected to love. I wanted it. This one has never been at the outlet. I bought this at Sephora in their VIB sale, and I really like it, which is kind of disappointing when you get this, when you spend it full price. And that is Body Heat. So I do really like this. It is the wet dry formula. It's just, I don't know, there's something that, I don't know, it's just, I really like it, but, Honeymoon is everybody compares Body Heat to Honeymoon. I think you really like either one or the other, and Honeymoon is going to be higher ranked, and this one I really like, but I didn't love it as much as I expected to, so I think it's just a preference. But it's a really beautiful quad, and if you like this color story, it's definitely one to pick up. I love the wet dry formula. You'll see a little later that I actually prefer a lot of his mattes more, which was surprising. I do love the wet dry formula, but I think because I'm almost 45, I almost prefer the mattes more with a little bit of shimmer. So this is number 13, Body Heat. Okay, here's number 12, another wet dry, and this is Virgin Orchid. I believe this one's still available. This one did pop up at the outlet, but I believe it's still available at Sephora and Nordstrom, etc. And of the couple wet dries, this is one of my favorites. There are a couple that are ranked higher, but this is definitely one of the higher ranked pink and purple typed palettes. I love this look. And the first time I used it, I wasn't sure if I liked it. And then as I got practicing, and I think with the wet dry formula, you do have to practice a little bit because you have to kind of get used to using it. This one I would say is, I almost love it. It's a really like almost love. It's a great palette. If you like these colors and you like this wet dry formula, definitely pick this one up. And this is number 12, Virgin Orchid. And rounding out the teens is number 11, and that is Golden Mink. So Golden Mink is really pretty. Again, it's kind of like a warm tone. It's got two, I guess, shimmer, like not, I guess satins is what they're called, and then the two shimmers. So the thing with that, I don't mind that these two shimmers is this is more of a brow bone inner eye, and this one is a good lid topper. So I use this as my transition. I use this to kind of add definition. I use this on the lid, and then I use this as the brow tone. That's the look I go for. Very simple. It's beautiful. It looks great. You can't go wrong with it. It's just very easy to use, really pretty, you know. Again, I think this is kind of the, you know, almost love category. So this is number 11, Golden Mink. You know, you're talking a lot when you have to change your camera battery. So if its setup's a little different, that's why. Now we're into my top 10. So of the ones, I think looking at the numbers, I think 14 on are ones that I regularly use. So 14, I think was Nude Dip, Body Heat, Virgin Orchid. Those are all that I regularly use. That's definitely the top 10 though, are the ones that I love. And these are the ones probably I use the most, but definitely the top 14 are ones that I regularly use. Up, you know, 15 and above are ones that I probably use more on certain occasions. So number 10 is Mink Mirage. So I actually do have Cocoa Mirage. I am not including it in this ranking because it's been discontinued for a while. Some of these are discontinued, but they've been discontinued in the last year or two, and you can still kind of get them. But I did not include Cocoa Mirage because it's been discontinued for a while and you can't get it. And if you do get it, you get like a used one on Mercari for like $250. So I didn't include it in this ranking. I did include Mink Mirage. So Mink Mirage, it looks really basic, right? This one is, and I did get this one at Sephora. It was recently went on sale like for 50% off. I didn't get it that. I did get it like at 20% off, but it looks kind of boring, but you just get a beautiful classic look with this. And I guess since I have blue eyes, I love brown tones, I love neutral tones because they do make my eyes pop. But Tom Ford's mattes are just amazing. And I really didn't understand why his quads are worth what they are until I started using them and then comparing them to others. And I don't buy cheap or inexpensive eyeshadow palettes anymore or eyeshadow quads because I used to save like this type of thing for special occasions, and now I don't. I use it up because I don't think I've ever hit pan. The only thing I've hit pan is that like little tiny Naked 2, and that was because it was the only thing I owned. But when you're saving things for nice occasions, then you never use them. So this is one that I use. I love. It's gorgeous. Obviously it's a little bit plain, so that's why it's number 10 and not closer to the front. But if you are looking for a basic, good everyday palette that's just gorgeous, this is, I mean, stunning. It's easy to use. I love it. And it's just a classic. So this is number 10, Mink Mirage. So next up is another one you can say Morgan Turner made me buy, and that is number 9, Pretty Baby. And Pretty Baby is another, this was I think her number 2, and Pretty Baby is another purpley type palette, but it has like 2 neutrals in there to make it a little easier to use for the average person. This I think is a duochrome. It's stunning, and I remember the first time I used it and was really surprised at how much I loved it on my eyes. So if you want to get into colors, you want to get into like a purple and you're really unsure or how to use it, this one, I think this quad makes it very, very easy to kind of experiment a little. So this is my number 9, Pretty Baby. Okay, number 8. Number 8 is one that shocked me. I kept passing it over. I saw it at the outlet. It has been discontinued, but it's still at the outlet. And in fact, I only bought it because it went to 75% off with an extra 10. So I paid maybe $19 with tax. And I thought, okay, I'll like it. But then I put it on and I loved it. I mean, absolutely loved it. Asked my husband what he thought. He loved it. And it is Last Dance. So it's number 8. And I mean, first of all, it's green. I don't wear green eyeshadow, but this shade right here, so I use this as the transition, use this in the crease, this on the brow bone, this shade right here. I don't know if you can see it. Let's see. Yeah. It is stunning. So I put this all over my lid and I just loved it. And it's blue. I mean, it's like a turquoise blue, but it looked stunning. And I wore this in one of the videos and a couple people, like friends, were like, what eyeshadow were you wearing then? I loved your eyeshadow. So I've worn this a couple times out. It's a beautiful palette. It's so much fun. It's something surprising. So if you do like this palette and you are looking, I would definitely try to reach out to some of the cosmetic company stores. If there's one close to you, see if they have it. If not, call, because I went to one over the weekend and they still had a bunch of these 75% off. So that comes to like $22 plus tax. And it is a great buy and I absolutely love this palette. So this is number 8, Last Dance. Lucky number 7 is Suspicion. So Suspicion is one that's still currently available on the regular market. It did pop up. A few of them popped up at the outlet and I instantly grabbed it. I had looked for it. I was actually going to buy it at Sephora, was going to wait for the VIB sale, and then they got a couple at the outlet. I don't know why. And it is just a very gold toned wet dry formula. Gorgeous. I love this. Of the wet dries, it's one of my favorite. Obviously I like warm tones. If you like more cool tones, and you're gonna like Nude Dip, but this is kind of like the warm tone Nude Dip equivalent. I just love it. It's gorgeous on the eye and it pairs really well with another one that has some mattes. So I sometimes will use one of these shades on top of that one that has more mattes. But it's just a gorgeous palette. So if you love gold tones, if you like the Urban Decay Honey, this is going to be the quad that you're going to love. I just love it. So this is number 7, Suspicion. Number 6 is First Frost. So this one's actually fairly new to my collection. It is one of the limited edition for the holidays, and I didn't expect to pick it up, and then by chance it ended up in the outlet, and I love it. It is one of the wet dry formulas. The only thing is these two bottom shades are very, very similar. So that's the only thing I don't really like about this. I definitely can use it, but you almost have to build this one up if you want to get more of a definition or be really light-handed on this one as a transition. But it's beautiful. It's got the pink. It's got the kind of like a pearly white for the brow bone, but it's beautiful on. Of the wet dries, again, this is one of my favorites, and this is First Frost, so you can still find it. It is discontinued, but you can still find it, and this is my number 6. Okay, so now we're in the top 5. Obviously, these are already the ones that I love and I use them. So really, of the top 7 or 8, I love them. I mean, I think they can be my number 1 on any given day. The top 5 are definitely ones that I think are just more consistent, and not as many of the wet dry. So I know some people love the wet dry formula, and I do, but I prefer his matte. So I find myself reaching more for his mattes more. And you'll see, I think in my top 5, I only have one of the wet dry formulas. So most of them have mattes or some of the satins. I think that those just tend to work easier with, and you'll see that in my top 5. So I think it's just a personal preference. With that, my number 5 is Disco Dust. This is one that's currently on the market, and I don't know, it's just a warm tone palette. It's got 3 satins and a shimmer. I use that in the brow bone. It's just a fun palette. So it's very easy to work with. You get really pretty looks. and you can, use it for work, for day. You can dress it up for nighttime. It's just one of those palettes that's very, very versatile. And again, very, very consistent. Like I know if I need to get in there, get a look and get in, get out quick, Disco Dusk is going to give me a gorgeous look. So that is my number 5. Okay, number 4. This one surprised me. So I had watched Tom Ford recently came out with 2 new quads, and I watched the reviews like everybody else, and they really weren't good reviews. People liked them but didn't love them, so I actually wasn't going to pick them up. And at the last minute, I decided to pick them up during the VIB sale. And I personally have loved them. The issues that other people have had, or one person I'm thinking of is Tara Lynn. She really didn't care for, she liked this one and she didn't really care for the other one. I really love both. So my number 4 is Insolent Rose. And I think it's just a preference between the two. This one actually, of the two, my husband liked this one more. I preferred the other one, but this is Insolent Rose. Just a beautiful, a beautiful quad. I use the pink as my transition, use this and the crease, this as a topper, brow bone, easy, done, beautiful. Just a beautiful quad, very consistent. Again, I think, like I said, I think I like working with his mattes. I found these very easy. I don't have, and I think the issue with a lot of other people is they thought that they had these colors in other palettes. I do not. I have pretty much narrowed down my collection to Tom Ford and Charlotte Tilbury and Natasha Denona. I'm starting to get into Pat McGrath, but she's pricey. So I guess they're all pricey, but when you get in the outlet, it's not as bad. But so I don't really have anything like this to compare it to. It's kind of similar to Charlotte Tilbury, but this collection is nothing that she has. I tried to see if this compared to any of the Charlotte Tilbury quads, and it really doesn't. So I really love this look. These are brand new on the market. So if you are interested in them and you've read, looked at other people's reviews and thought, I'm not going to pick it up, it's not getting good reviews. Personally, I loved it, and it's my number 4, and that is Insolent Rose. And that leads me to my number 3, which is the other brand new one, and that is Desert Fox. Now again, this is the one that Tara Lynn did not like. Now, she has a very different coloring than I do, but I loved it. And I remember putting it on, didn't even ask my husband, and he goes, "Oh, which eyeshadow is that? I like that one." And I didn't even ask him. So he pointed it out that he really liked this one. I think also because it's definitely warm toned. You've got this gold. I think with my blue eyes, it really, really made my blue eyes pop. Like I kept looking at myself all day, like, wow, I really love this look. Now this is a very light shade. It's not light enough to do the brow bone. So I do know like that kind of a complaint, but there's so many others that I can use, or just use a highlighter that I don't need to, but I do use that it's definitely too light as a transition, but I kind of use it as a base, and then I use it to kind of blend out the lines. So I do find use in that. I do see the criticism where it would have been nice to have like a brow bone highlight there, but I still have use for that color. So it's not a complaint for me. I love this gold, and I love these. They're kind of like a rusty, I guess fox type color. I love it. So this is my number 3, Desert Fox. So now we're down to the last 2, and these are really interchangeable, and it really depends on if I want a wet dry formula or if I want a matte. And so number 2 is a wet dry formula, and that is Honeymoon. Honeymoon, I don't know what to say about Honeymoon. It's just stunning. And I'm surprised that when you look at them in the pan, that it's so similar to Body Heat, but then on the eye, I just love this one so much more. And if I'm going to go for a certain look, I'm going to reach for this one over Body Heat. And I just love it. This shade on the lid is just stunning. Again, blue eyes. It makes my blue eyes pop. It's just so easy. Transition, crease, lid, brow bone, easy peasy, done. Gorgeous quad, very simple. I think a couple people, this is usually very, very high on their list. Honeymoon. To me, this is the best of the wet dry formula. if I want a wet dry formula, this is the one I go to. I love it. It's a great quad, and that is my number 2 Honeymoon. And that leads me to my number 1, which is what I'm wearing on my eyes today, and that is De La Crème. Yeah, I know some people don't like this. It is a little boring. It's got 2 mattes, 2 satins. I love this quad. Every time I put a look together, I love it. Now, what I was saying with the Suspicion color story is very similar, except that's wet dry. This is 2 mattes and 2 satins. So I sometimes pair them together. If I'm traveling, I always bring both. And sometimes I will use one of the wet dries as a lid color because it does complement each other. They're almost like the same colors, just different formulas. So, but I love this. I love this quad. I think it's because I love the gold tones. I love warm. So again, if you like the honey, or you like warm tones or gold, this is it. Like, to me, if you're looking for a good Tom Ford quad that can be worn day or night, dressed up, this is it. I mean, this is my favorite. I can't say enough. It's easy peasy. I've worn this at Disney World. I've worn it out. I've worn it everywhere. You can, pop up, a pop of one of those Charlotte Tilbury pops, or I have the Butter London, I guess accents. You can use that to kind of spruce it up a little bit. Or this right here, this gold is beautiful. It's what I have on the lid right now. So it's just a gorgeous quad, very versatile. It's my number 1. That's De La Crème. So that is it. That is all 30. I can't believe I have 30 of my Tom Ford eyeshadow quads. So let me know what you think. Tell me what you thought. Do you agree with my ranking? Do you disagree? Are there ones that you love that you don't like? And do you disagree with me? I'm going to put in the links below. If I find any that are discontinued and on sale, I would definitely put links below, as well as a link to the cosmetic company store video that I did that has a lot of information on how you can order phone calls. You can just call any of those stores to see if any of these quads are in stock. What I usually do is I will just call my local store and say, hey, which Tom Ford quads do you have? And sometimes, because it is a 15-mile drive for me, and that way it just saves me a trip, and I see if they have any, and they will usually hold it for you for a couple hours. But with that, if you like this video, click like, click and subscribe. That way you get a notification every time I post a new video. Bye everyone.